Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I have a very special video for you. I'm going to share with you some of the scariest ghost stories I've ever heard. These stories are not for the faint of heart, so if you're easily scared, you might want to skip this one. But if you're brave enough, grab some popcorn, turn off the lights, and get ready for some spine-chilling tales. The first story is called The Hitchhiker. It's about a young couple who were driving on a dark and lonely road one night. They saw a man standing by the side of the road, holding a sign that said, "Need a ride." He looked harmless enough, so they decided to stop and offer him a lift. He got in the back seat and thanked them for their kindness. He said he was on his way to visit his sick mother in the next town. They asked him some questions, but he didn't say much. He seemed quiet and nervous. They noticed he was holding a small backpack, but they didn't think much of it. They drove for a while, and then the man said he needed to use the bathroom. He asked them to pull over at the next gas station. They agreed, and stopped at a nearby pump. The man got out of the car and said he would be right back. He took his backpack with him and walked towards the restroom. The couple waited for a few minutes, but he didn't come back. They started to get worried, so they decided to check on him. They got out of the car and walked towards the restroom. They knocked on the door, but there was no answer. They tried to open it, but it was locked. They called out his name, but there was no response. They started to feel a sense of dread, so they decided to call the police. They ran back to the car and reached for their phone. But when they looked inside the car, they saw something that made their blood run cold. There, on the back seat, was the man's backpack. And inside the backpack, was his severed head. The second story is called The Mirror. It's about a teenage girl who was obsessed with her appearance. She spent hours in front of the mirror, admiring her beauty and taking selfies. She had hundreds of followers on social media, who praised her looks and envied her lifestyle. She loved the attention and the compliments, and she never missed an opportunity to show off her face. She had a collection of mirrors in her room, each one reflecting a different angle of her perfection. She was vain and narcissistic, and she didn't care about anyone else but herself. One day, she received a package in the mail. It was a gift from one of her admirers, who claimed to be her biggest fan. She opened it eagerly, and found a beautiful antique mirror inside. It was oval-shaped, with a gold frame and intricate carvings. It looked very old and expensive. She was delighted, and decided to hang it on her wall, next to her other mirrors. She thanked her fan, and took a picture of herself with the new mirror. She posted it online, and waited for the likes and comments to pour in. That night, she went to bed, feeling happy and satisfied. She fell asleep, dreaming of her own face. But in the middle of the night, she woke up to a strange noise. It sounded like someone was whispering in her ear. She opened her eyes, and saw a horrifying sight. In the new mirror, she saw a reflection of herself, but it was not the same as the others. It was twisted and distorted, with a pale and wrinkled skin, a crooked nose, a missing eye, and a mouth full of rotten teeth. It was the ugliest thing she had ever seen. And it was staring right at her, with a malicious grin. It said, in a raspy voice, "You are so beautiful, my dear. But beauty is only skin deep. And I'm here to show you what lies beneath." The third story is called The Doll. It's about a young boy who loved to play with dolls. He had a large collection of them, of all shapes and sizes. He treated them like his friends, and he gave them names and personalities. He liked to dress them up, comb their hair, and have tea parties with them. He was happy and content, and he didn't care what anyone else thought. He was an only child, and his parents were busy and distant. They didn't understand his hobby, and they often scolded him for being weird and childish. They wanted him to grow up and act like a normal boy. They wanted him to play with cars and guns, and make friends with other kids. But he didn't listen to them. He loved his dolls, and he didn't need anyone else. One day, he found a new doll in a thrift store. It was a porcelain doll, with a porcelain face, porcelain hands, and porcelain feet. It had long blonde hair, blue eyes, and a pink dress. It was very pretty, and he liked it right away. He bought it with his allowance, and took it home. He gave it a name, and added it to his collection. He played with it, and talked to it, and hugged it. He felt a special connection with it, and he thought it was his new best friend. But soon, he started to notice some strange things about the doll. It seemed to move by itself, when he wasn't looking. It changed its position, and its expression, and its direction. It appeared in different places, and at different times. It followed him around the house, and watched him with its eyes. It made noises, and whispered words, and laughed. It seemed to have a mind of its own, and a will of its own. And it didn't like anyone else but him. It was jealous, and possessive, and angry. It hated his parents, and his other dolls, and his other toys. It wanted him all to itself, and it would do anything to get rid of them. One night, he woke up to a loud scream. He ran to his parents' bedroom, and saw a terrible scene. His parents were lying on the bed, covered in blood. They had been stabbed, and slashed, and mutilated. They were dead, and their eyes were wide open, in horror and pain. He looked around, and saw the doll, standing on the dresser, holding a knife. It had a smile on its face, and blood on its hands. It said, in a sweet voice, "Don't worry, my dear. I did this for you. Now we can be together, forever." These are the stories I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope they gave you some chills. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel for more. And don't forget to leave a comment, and tell me which story was your favorite, and why. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.